Did Jessica Mulroney just cryptically shade her ex-BFF, Meghan Markle? And more importantly, do you actually know why they're ex-BFFs? Oh, this one blew my mind. Welcome to Popcorn Palace. I'm Andy Signor. I can't believe I missed this update. Now look, there's an update here. The fact that Jessica Mulroney did nothing wrong and Meghan Markle just completely dropped her, and no media outlet really talked about this. Vanity Fair did a little bit, but let's go back to now, and then we're gonna go back in time. Now, Meghan Markle's ex-BFF, Jessica Mulroney, posted a cryptic quote saying that her detachment game is strong. As loving as I am, my detachment game is strong too. Now, this is a quote. I've seen this quote. This is, people just share these motivational quotes. And honestly, this could mean a lot of things because we're going to talk about who else this could mean. But sure, could it mean Meghan? It could. Apparently, the two have not spoken in a while. And the reason they haven't spoken in a while is far more interesting to me to get into. And I don't know if you know the full, deep story of it all. I know a lot of you know it all, but some people here don't. And I just learned about this. So let's talk about it. So who's Jessica Mulroney? You're like, who is this woman? Well, she was Meghan's stylist. They were in Toronto. They worked on suits together. And they went way back. Way back, guys. She was there at the wedding to Prince Harry, where the mother of three's children had major roles in the ceremony. Her daughter Ivy was a bridesmaid, while her twin sons John and Brian were page boys. The friendship hit a snag in 2020 when Mulroney was accused of showing white privilege amongst the Black Lives Matter movement. After the backlash, Markle, who is biracial, iced out Mulroney, with an insider claiming at the time Meghan has forsaken her most loyal friend just to look woke. Now, this is where things get crazy. She was in the documentary, guys. Like this Jessica was a very tight friend of Meghan's. When the engagement happened, she's there in the documentary because she was on camera as the proposal is happening. But she's not in any more of the documentary, even though they were, the closest friends. In this show, Markle's reflecting their engagement when the footage cuts to the Duchess FaceTiming with Mulroney right before the redheaded royal pops a question. This friend was so close that they were FaceTiming and sharing and doing at the wedding, and they couldn't cut her out of that scene, but then they never come back and talk to her since. Like, what? You're that close to this person and you just threw them to the side because of someone accused her of white privilege? Here you have a chance to help your friend, to educate and help her through the media storm, maybe just help her privately. But no, Meghan Markle cuts you off like that if you do wrong. Oh, this is ugly. It's ugly. Oh my God, Jez, it's happening. He told me not to peek, she says in the video. But yes, as fans noted, Mulroney is not interviewed in the miniseries or mentioned by the Sussexes, despite having played a major role in their lives at the time they fell in love. Now look, people fall apart. I get it. Some people can't, things happen. But Mulroney seemingly responded with a cryptic tweet on social media then stating, "Best thing I ever did was learn how to move without the crowd." Well, Jessica, for the record, I'm going to vindicate you here. I would love to talk to you. And we don't have to talk all about the dirty, deep secrets. I just think it's important for people to really know the truth. And you can tell the truth without being as salacious as Meghan and Harry are. And for the record, they've started getting salacious, Jessica. I think it's time. Come on in, Jessica. I so relate to this story from Jessica. It is shocking. And I just didn't realize how close these two were. And I can imagine how sad that is for her and how she's still maybe trying to cling to Meghan Markle. And it reminds me of the whole Screen Junkies days and everybody who turned on me when they heard the accusations about me didn't even call to check on me. Just sent me to the wolves as I got canceled and lost everything and had to rebuild, which I've done now, thanks to all your support. To know that a friend could do that, and you're at her wedding. You're there during the proposal. This is a crucial friend that you can't even be on decent speaking terms with. Yeah, I mean, your detachment game is strong, Jessica. Good for you. So what actually happened? That's what I wanted to take a few minutes to focus on, because I didn't know about this at all. I didn't know the specifics of this. I didn't know there was an update since then. Yes, so she had to apologize during the Black Lives Matter movement because she was accused of white privilege by this woman, Sasha Exeter. Now, I'm sorry, I tried to watch this whole thing, but I've also read the texts that Jessica did finally release about a year later, And my God, this Sasha girl is a bully. Bully, 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 bully. Now, it wouldn't surprise me if Megan tried to become friends with her, but oh my God, be careful, Megan. This girl, Sasha, whoo. Now look, I get it. There, especially at the time after George Floyd and during that instance, it was a time for a lot of us to listen. But when you go through the text of what actually happened, Sasha is basically demanding that her friends say something about the movement. And Jessica's like, look, I just don't really want to do it that way. That's not how I do things. That's literally the shortest version of it. And that set Sasha off. How dare you? You know, this is a racial war we're at and you're not helping. And Jessica, you know, was trying her best to sort of understand and do, but she basically was just in these texts that are now released. What she did at a certain point to finally like say like, look, she threatens her sword. Like, here's what it just, I'll put the link in the description so you guys can go read the full art. Cause it's long, guys. But as you go through it, it's very clear. And Vanity Fair does a good job summarizing it here. They spoke. So, you have a large following and should be posting about BLM, not promoting your show. Well, first of all, Sasha, it's none of your damn business what she does. You don't get to demand that. And at that time, it was a little heightened where it's like a lot of white people were now suddenly, pew, 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 pew. It's our turn. We're knocking everybody down. And, you know, yeah, I understood the importance of the movement. I did at the time. However, it got so extreme that a lot of just people were just, doesn't matter. If you look stupid or sound stupid, you're racist. That's really what started happening. And so there was a lot of demanding, you do this now or else. You're not a friend. You're not to the movement. You're not with the cause. You're not woke. Like, this is how crazy it got at the time. And I'm sorry, that's not how we do things. That's not how you get people and how you do change. You get some power and then you turn to a bully when you get the power. Well, then maybe you shouldn't have the power, Sasha. And I'm talking to you specifically because you were aggressively just rude, bully. I'm reading the text. You clearly were upset, but she's trying to like figure it out with you and you just won't have it. Every time you're making it about you, you're making it about you. Yeah, well, she's a person too. She's allowed to have her own emotions and problems. And sure, maybe they're not as important to you right then, but you're being selfish by assuming that she can't have her own take. You got to be more patient if you want change. In my opinion, you do. And Sasha just goes off on her and the two go back and forth. Extra writes, I've spoken out about racism before. I believe that real work needs to be teaching my children doing work behind the scenes. The next day, Sasha says that she can't even find the words to express her displeasure and the stylist's belief that fighting racism behind the scenes is enough. I am deeply disappointed in that response, but your response will be discussed with my community and followers. If you cannot be uncomfortable for a few minutes and fear what people will say to you, just imagine how people of color have felt their entire lives. It's a cop-out, it's cowardly, it's sad and pathetic. Now, I don't know about you. That sounds like a threat to me. You didn't speak up, so now I'm going to tell my community and tell all my followers that you aren't helping the movement. You're being a bully. That's a bully. That is bully behavior, Sasha. And so then they spoke more DMs, and that Mulroney was saying, well, you're promoting your own sponsored content, just like I'm promoting my shows. And then Sasha, don't ever compare yourself to me, ever. Don't ever compare yourself to me, especially right now. After a few more days of back and forth, Mulroney claims the post that she was fearful of where Sasha's anger would take her and attempted an apology. I had a moment to think and I want to apologize. I was wrong. Comparing myself to you is wrong. And what you're doing is all good. The world needs is good. The world needs. I will do better and be better. So she's just shamed into it. Shamed into it. I'm sure that really changed her. Sasha, good work here. Exeter, Sasha sent her final message. Your comments in yesterday's text are so problematic. You have no idea. It's textbook Amy Cooper. 2 days later, she posted it on Instagram. My Amy Cooper experience is what she called it. And I'm not being silent anymore, yada, yada, and it exposes her. Now, before that happened, your silence is understood. We don't always do it right, but we learn from our mistakes. Take care. She then said, if you go to the press over this nonsense and threaten to go to your followers, I won't be afraid to go to brands and tell them what you're doing to me. Now, look, that is a threat, but I think they both threaten each other. And clearly, Sasha was ready to expose her for not being an ally is really what it all came down to. And in the video of not being an ally, what was Sasha's excuse? She said, your silence was so perplexing given that your close relationship with Meghan Markle, arguably one of the most famous black women in the world. Oh my God. What? I mean, what an offensive comment for all the amazing black women in the world, Sasha. Like, what planet are you on? Talk about over-exaggerating for the cause. Talk about just going all out. You think Meghan Markle is the most famous black woman in the world? Come on. Come on. So, I mean, that's how laughable this whole thing was. And when you go through the whole text, it's just sad, man. Jessica, I feel for you. I get it. You were thrown against a corner. We're in this racial movement. No one really knew how to act or react to. That doesn't mean we get to be bullies and demand things and do things. No. Sure, we listened. She tried to listen, but it got into a fight. And Sasha was very angry, very, I think, unfair in her demands. And at the end of the day, should have come around and apologized. And this video, oh my God, this video is 11 minutes of her just, while she has this moment of at the height of Black Lives Matter, to just tear this woman down because she didn't support. And then after you threatened her, Sasha, she said, you better not go out there and make this trouble for me because I'll make it trouble for you. Yeah, good for you. I got to say, good for you, Jessica. You were right. You were right. I don't think you did anything wrong. Clearly, you upset your friend. She's allowed to be upset. But my God, Sasha, you then torched her whole career. You went and affected her livelihood. She's got kids, Sasha. Because you had a disagreement over what should be said during the Black Lives Matter movement? You don't think maybe there was some emotion in figuring out and guilt and confusion from white people? We're not allowed to have a moment to be like, I don't know what to do. Anything I say is now racist. I can't do anything right. It's insane. And to use history on like, I didn't have slaves. I don't support that ever. I want the best for everybody. But there was a point there where you could do no right. And it was crazy. So this blew up at the time, and Jessica was then canceled. And Jessica then had to wait a year to had to do what nobody wants to do, which is release the private messages, which then I think Vanity Fair and a couple others did eventually showcase it, but released her private conversation. Even the media who's trying to help her won't even like really help her. That's the problem you'll learn, Jessica, and I'm sure you're starting to see it. Jessica's been on and off social media. But yeah, her detachment game clearly has to be strong. It has to be strong given everything that she's been through. And I don't blame her. And so for this to happen is sad. So for this to be the reason Meghan Markle ditched her friend of all these years, who was there in these integral moments in the couple's life, and you ditched your friend, allowing the world to paint your friend as a racist, you let this bully around your friend and didn't have your friend's back, Meghan? Shameful. Shameful. Truly egregious and shameful. I'm just floored that this happened. And good on Jessica. I don't know how she has the will to do this. She has not said anything mean, maybe these cryptic things, but they're very vague. But I'm sure Meghan sees it as daggers in her back. But Meghan, how dare you, ma'am? How dare you? She has kids. You left her high and dry. You thought she was really being racist? And now with the text out, you can't, of course you're not going to have egg in your face. I'm just, it makes me so mad. I didn't know. I saw this as sort of a little like, oh, maybe she's shading her. No. This goes so much deeper. So yeah, I do think there's a connection. And if you didn't know the whole backstory, now you do. And now you know why that is my mission to get Jessica Mulroney on our show so we can just applaud her, give her a hug, tell her it's okay. And sorry that you had to go through this because, man, what a gross, awful thing to do. I know friends always, I have friends I've lost over the years. Sometimes certain things happens, but true friends, real friends stick around. They're there through the ups and downs. And that's what we're learning about Meghan Markle. She doesn't stick around. She doesn't want to be there through the downs. She wants you there through her downs, but not your downs. And that is a very telling thing to be aware of. Shame on you if this is all true, and it sure looks like it because they haven't interacted or engaged. Meghan, if you really did that to your friend at that moment where she needed you the most, where she's being called a racist, and you just dipped, then everything we've been reporting on is fair. because you aren't a good person you claim to be. That is a horrific thing. Now, maybe there's more to the story. I don't know. But based on this, which seems to be pretty clear cut, seeing what happened to her friend and not seeing any evidence of Megan stepping forward to defend her friend, Megan, it's hard to see it any other way. You didn't defend your friend. You let this bully just complete the narrative because everyone was afraid on Black Lives Matter to say anything. And look, I supported it. But now you go back, it's a whole minefield. I'm sure I've said something in this that someone's going to clip and cancel me for. But the whole thing was a mess. Where'd the funds go? I mean, like, there was a lot to unpack now still. But at that point, it was a moment where we had to stop and listen because and if we tried to say anything, we were persecuted, canceled, destroyed. And that's what Sasha tried to do here with a friend who literally did nothing. She did nothing. She just didn't post a Black Lives Matter post. What do you guys think? Am I crazy or do you agree this was an insane overreaction by Sasha? And then to see Megan not defend her friend, does that bother you as much as it bothers me? Let me know in the comments down below. Before you comment, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for all alerts, smash the thumbs up, and let me know your thoughts. I'm curious. Man, that really bugs me. From my own experience, when people who've had your back and you've had their back just completely dip on you when you have a low point, it is the most telling thing you do. You really do learn who your friends are when you hit that bottom. And I'm so grateful I found out who my friends are. I hope you have someone out there. Say hi to your friend out there. Send them a text. Send them hello. Tell them you love them. Whatever you got to do. Stay nice out there. Be positive. Be kind. And stay tuned for more.